Today is November 18th. It's the 323rd day of the year, and this is the On This Day podcast. And perhaps a little bit of listener discretion for our second story today. On this day in the year 1307, William Tell shoots an apple off his son's head in a bid to spare both their lives. At least, so the legend goes. According to legend, Albrecht Gessler, a brutal and cruel bailiff of the Habsburgs, raises his hat on a pole in the town square of Altdorf, in present-day Switzerland. Gessler demands that all the townfolks bow before his hat when they pass. On this day in 1307, William Tell passes through the town square with his son. William Tell is a well-known marksman with a crossbow and an accomplished climber and strongman. When Tell and his son come upon Gessler's hat atop the pole in Altdorf, they refuse to bow to it. Gessler is enraged and orders the execution of Tell and his son. However, Gessler has heard of Tell's expertise as a marksman and makes him an offer. If he can shoot an apple off of his son's head, Gessler will spare both of their lives. The apple shot is lined up, and William Tell successfully shoots the apple off his son's head on this day in 1307. They are free, but before Gessler lets them go, he notices that Tell had pulled 2 arrows from his quiver. Why, he asks. Tell replies that if he had missed and killed his son, he would have fired the second arrow to kill Gessler. Well, Gessler's not too happy about that, so he arrests Tell and orders him imprisoned for life. To make a long story short, William Tell escapes while en route to prison across Lake Lucerne and returns to kill Gessler once and for all with that second arrow from his quiver. So, did it really happen? The apple shot on this day? Well, who can say for sure? There are a few similar legends in Germanic and Nordic folklore of expert marksmen shooting apples off their sons' heads. The story of William Tell is written down first in the 1400s in the White Book of Sarnen, and then again a century later, and it's become a foundation legend of the Swiss liberation tradition, with William Tell heralded as a Swiss national hero of liberty. Some scholars argue that there's no such villain as Gessler, and that William Tell never even existed, and never shot an apple off of his son's head on this day in 1307. Leave it to a bunch of eggheads to ruin a good story. In political discussions, some people disparage others for, quote, drinking the Kool-Aid, meaning they're blindly following a party or ideology. Drinking the Kool-Aid refers to the mass ritual sacrifice that takes place on this day in 1978 in the jungles of Guyana in South America, when 909 followers of cult leader the Reverend Jim Jones commit what they call revolutionary suicide, taking their lives as a group in the utopian settlement they built just a year before, the settlement named for their leader, Jonestown. They are members of a religious group called the People's Temple, founded by Jim Jones in Indiana in 1955, as a combination of Christianity and communism. The church relocates to California in the 1960s and grows significantly in the 1970s with bases of operation in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Jones preaches racial equality, presiding over what he calls his rainbow family. Though pursuing noble ideals in the racially charged 60s and 70s, Jim Jones is also bat-poop crazy, the textbook definition of a cult leader, a loquacious megalomaniac who uses suggestion and psychological abuse as means of mind control, and turns a person's desire to create a better world against them. All the members of the People's Temple join the church wanting to do good. They sell their worldly possessions and turn the proceeds over to Jones to fund the temple's egalitarian efforts. They believe in Jim Jones, and so they believe the myths he creates about the world and society and the government, that, according to Jim Jones, wants to defeat them, the government that wants to put an end to their good work, the government that wants to destroy them. Jones directs his followers to create a utopian community in the jungles of Guyana, a socialist paradise built in a socialist South American country. But to the few survivors of the mass suicide on this day in 1978, Jonestown is remembered as a slave camp. Followers are trapped. There's no point leaving because there's nowhere to go. In San Francisco, you could walk out the front door, but in Jonestown, you're surrounded by jungle. Families back in the States are worried about their loved ones with whom they've lost touch. Temple members not being allowed to communicate with their families back home. At the behest of constituents, U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan of California makes an investigative trip down to Jonestown. He's accompanied by an NBC camera crew. At first, everything seems okay. Everyone is happy to be there, and it's a positive atmosphere. But then someone slips the NBC team a note, reading, quote, "Please help me get out of Jonestown," with a list of names of people who want to leave. The next morning, while Congressman Ryan negotiates the departure of certain People's Temple members, he's assaulted with a knife. Ryan, the camera crew, and about a dozen Temple defectors hurry to the airfield to make their escape, but before they can get on their plane, other Temple members arrive and gun them down. 5 people are killed at the airstrip. When word gets back to Jim Jones, he calls for the members of the People's Temple to assemble in the main pavilion in Jonestown. The event is recorded on audio tape. Jones regularly speaks to the community by loudspeaker, and on this day he picks up his microphone and addresses the assembled.
How very much I've loved you. How very much I've tried my best to give you the good life. But in spite of all of that I've tried, a handful of our people, with their lies, have made our life impossible. There's no way to detach ourselves from what's happened today.
Jones tells his followers that the plane carrying the congressman is going to crash. Someone's going to shoot the pilot, and the plane is going to fall into the jungle, he says. He didn't arrange it, that's what he tells them, but he knows it's going to happen. Then Jones opens the floor to dissenting opinions. A woman named Christine Miller challenges Jones and makes a rational and pragmatic argument for an alternative to mass suicide. Is it too late for Russia, she asks. Relocation to Russia is one of the prospects Jones preaches about on a regular basis. Jim Jones honors the debate, but only allows one conclusion, a conclusion that the majority of those present in the pavilion wholeheartedly support.
I said I'm afraid to die.
I don't think you are.
means.
I don't think you are.
But I look at our babies and I think they deserve to live.
I agree.
You know?
But also they deserve, what's more, they deserve peace.
We all came here for peace.
And have we had it?
No.
I tried to give it to you. I've laid down my life practically. I've practically died every day to give you peace, and you've still not had any peace. You look better than I've seen you in a long while, but it's still not the kind of peace that I wanted to give you. So, a person's a fool that continues to say that you're a winner when you're losing.
There's only one way out as far as Jim Jones is concerned. Revolutionary suicide. As the discussion continues, Christine calmly tries different tacks to break through Jones's argument. What about the little ones? What about little John? The majority of followers become unruly and yell at Christine, heckling her to get in line and get with the program.
I'm not letting them take your jar. Can you let them take your jar?
See John die?
What's that?
You mean you want to see John, the little one that keeps...
I want to see... Peace.
Christine, are you saying that you think he thinks more of them than other children here?
John.
That's what you're saying.
But you're acting. Do you think I'd put John's life above others? If I put John's life above others, I wouldn't be standing with his jar. I'd send John out. He could go out on the driveway tonight.
because he's young. They're young.
I know, but he's no different to me than any of these children here. He's just one of my children. I don't prefer one above another.
Jones convinces his followers that the government is going to come for them, round them up and put them in concentration camps. They're going to come and take their children from them. They cannot allow that to happen. It's better to die today than live 10 more days, he tells them, by that point just babbling anything to get them to get on board. Jones calls for the babies first. This is not the first time the people of Jonestown have gotten in line to drink tainted liquid. They've had drills in the past. Jones calls them white nights. Loyalty tests to see who is willing to join him in the afterlife, even though Jim Jones doesn't actually believe in the afterlife or reincarnation. Jones calls for the babies first because if there's any thought in the minds of the mothers that this might be another drill, they'll no doubt want to take their own lives after they see their children die. The babies and young ones have the cyanide-laced fruit punch squirted down their throats. They're not crying from pain, Jones tells them. It's just a little bitter tasting. Then the older children and adults are herded towards the vats of the poisoned punch. Some people present believe revolutionary suicide is something to be happy about. One woman calls for those assembled to be happy, to rejoice for the opportunity to die. They have found identity, inclusion, love, and security in the group and can't imagine living without the group. Others succumb to peer pressure. The fear of going against the group is greater than the fear of following the group into death. But no matter, some can't help reacting to the horrible convulsions they witness in those who drink before them. Jones urges them to be orderly, to not resort to histrionics, that it's just going into a deep sleep. Keep your emotions down, he tells them. It won't hurt if you be quiet.
Hurry, my children. Hurry. The seniors out here that I'm concerned about. Hurry. I don't want to leave my seniors to this mess. Quickly, 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 quickly. Sisters, good knowing you. No more pain, Al. No more pain, I said, Al. No more pain.
The tragedy that takes place in Jonestown on this day in 1978 is usually referred to as a mass suicide, but a great number of children and adults are forcibly injected with cyanide. It is mass suicide, but it is also mass murder. 918 people in all, including U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan, followers who take their lives outside of the settlement when they hear the news, and approximately 250 children forced to drink the Kool-Aid.
We didn't commit suicide. We committed an act of revolutionary suicide protesting the conditions of an inhumane world.